What is going on, you guys? My name is Cody Thixton, and this is Interesting Podcast. Coming to you guys on February 27th, 2023 for episode 30, where tonight we are going to be talking about Matt Riddle, where we actually get an update on the absence of Matt Riddle from WWE television. Plus, what did Ronda Rousey have to say about the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions? And apparently Triple H is under a lot of heat right now from WWE Talent backstage when it comes to their bookings for this year's WrestleMania. We're going to break down everything that the Spotlight News has to say, and then we're going to discuss it all right here, right now, on Interesting Podcast. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, ring that notification bell so you guys get notified whenever I upload content. Make sure to go and follow me on social media at CodyT503. That's Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Let's get right into this. Now, as always, this is being presented by the Spotlight News. We get an update on Matt Riddle's absence from WWE television. This is what the Spotlight News had to say. Matt Riddle was written off from WWE television after being attacked by Solo Sikoa on the December 5th episode of Monday Night Raw. WWE aired that injury angle because Riddle failed his second drug test within a year. Matt Riddle entered rehabilitation in December. Ringside News reported that the original Bro isn't ready for a comeback, and his name won't be discussed by the WWE creative team until WWE Talent Relations informs them. For fans hoping for Matt Riddle's WWE return, we were told that his name will not be discussed by creative until Talent Relations informs them that Riddle is once again a character they can pitch for. WrestleMania 39 is less than 35 days away, and the company already announced 3 matches for the event. More storylines are developing on WWE television, but seem like Matt Riddle won't have a match at WrestleMania 39. Crazy. It just really sucks, man. It really does to have such a good character like the original Bro, Matt Riddle, and for him to have these drug issues that are going to cause him to not be able to wrestle or to be able to perform at WrestleMania. And I can't imagine, kind of maybe like, imagine this. Imagine if Randy Orton was a little bit frustrated with Matt Riddle over this whole scenario because they were supposed to attempt to come back as a tag team, or at least this is what was heavily rumored and heavily speculated, was that Matt Riddle and Randy Orton were going to split. And then they were going to have a singles match at WrestleMania 39 this year, and that would be a blow-off from their tag team, which usually happens to tag teams in WWE. They usually end up having a match standalone. So that was their plan, but because of everything that had happened with Matt Riddle, now we don't know what to do with Randy Orton at WrestleMania because nothing has been built up. This was actually a storyline that was going on for a period of time, especially because everybody knew when they became RK Bro that Matt Riddle and Randy Orton would eventually one day have a match. And the only place that we could actually see that match occurring is WrestleMania. So I wonder just how frustrated Randy Orton is with this whole Matt Riddle situation. And it just really sucks because that match on top of the matches that we already have. Sorry, I'm all sitting here stumbling on my words. But with the matches that we already have, to have Matt Riddle and Randy Orton would have just been like a cherry on top of the cake of WrestleMania. And I just hope the absolute best for Matt Riddle, because when you look at his work, when you look at how charismatic he is, how he interacts with the crowd, how people initially just pop for him as soon as his music goes off, he was really growing to be a future star. And I think he still has that potential to be a future star. He just needs to obviously go through rehabilitation and prove to WWE that, he can be trusted and that he can come back and they can give him, a full-time schedule with a full map out of who he's going to be fighting and what he's going to be doing. And that they can trust him that, he's not going to fail another drug test, because they don't want to start putting things into place, putting things into the plans, having things in motion. And then we get a situation like this year at WrestleMania where we unfortunately don't get that match between Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. And I just hope that this doesn't become like a Jeff Hardy situation. Because, I've always been a big admirer of Jeff Hardy because he was somebody that I looked up to when I was a little kid. But with the amount of DUIs that Jeff Hardy has received over the last few years, it's really difficult to support the guy. Because, the first time, he came out and he apologized. Second time, it happened again. And then third time, it's like, okay, dude, clearly, like, you haven't learned your lesson. So I hope that isn't the same tune that we get with Matt Riddle when it comes to, him failing drug tests and him failing on storylines that are already being developed and him not being there when he needs to be because of drugs. I hope that, we actually do get the future star of Matt Riddle because he is way too good to squander that. Way too good. So hope that we actually get some really, really good news here pretty soon that WWE will bring Matt Riddle back to WWE television. The next story is Ronda Rousey criticizes the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, and then Bayley reacts. We're going to break down everything that not only the Spotlight News had to say, but what Bayley had to say in rebuttal to Ronda Rousey. So this is what the Spotlight News had to say. Ronda Rousey made her return to WWE on the February 10th episode of Friday Night SmackDown, where she joined Shayna Baszler and attacked Natalya and Shotzi. Recently, Rousey made it clear that she has no desire to challenge for the SmackDown Women's title. She also stated that she is eyeing winning the Women's Tag Team Championships alongside Shayna Baszler. Today, the baddest woman on the planet tweeted that she is frustrated with Damage Control defending their championships twice in 6 months. This is what Ronda Rousey had to say, and I quote, "Apparently, the entirety of the SmackDown tag division is natty by nature plus whatever poor soul she can recruit to her lost cause this week. Usos defend their title every week. Damage Control has defended like twice in 6 months. What the hell is going on here?" End quote. In a response to Rousey's tweet, Bayley stated that Dakota Kai and Io Sky regularly defend their titles at live events. Bayley then went on to tweet this, and I quote, "Please spell the champ's name right and then show up to some live events and watch them defend the tag titles weekly." End quote. Rousey then replied to Bayley's tweet by saying, and I quote, Don't worry, me and all 15 people in Champaign, Illinois will be watching your crony's glorious untelevised title defense tonight." End quote. Damage Control is scheduled to defend their women's tag team titles against Becky Lynch and Lita on the upcoming WWE Raw, which will take place in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We previously reported that Ronda Rousey also advertised for WWE Raw. This is actually really, really interesting and actually something that I wanted to dive in with you guys. So, as it is also being reported, obviously, that Dakota Kai and Io Sky, they are not actively on WWE television. They don't do it on a weekly basis like they should. And I think that's the reason why Damage Control isn't really feeling all that hot right now. And I just want to throw something out to you guys because it said in the report that, later on tonight, on Monday, we are going to get Becky Lynch and Lita versus Dakota Kai and Io Sky for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Now, let's say that Lita and Becky Lynch end up winning the WWE Tag Team Championships tonight. And then we go into WrestleMania and we get Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch and Lita for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. because those four women, especially Lita being a legend, Becky Lynch being the man, Becky Lynch, as she is, and then you have, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Ronda Rousey brings a lot of notoriety, especially if they're going to be in Los Angeles for WrestleMania. They're going to want a lot of notoriety. And then Shayna Baszler, that would just be a very, very good time for WWE to really spotlight Shayna Baszler and also really bring a lot of prestige, or try to at least, to the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, because with them regularly not being used on WWE television, it definitely does inhibit them from being able to feel important whenever they are presented. And I think that's exactly what Ronda Rousey is saying, is that if we have such a hot tag team, like a Ronda Rousey and a Shayna Baszler, or a Becky Lynch and a Lita, why don't we have the Women's Tag Team Championships on two women that actually have some type of notoriety going into WrestleMania, instead of having an Io Sky and a Dakota Kai, who have kind of tarnished the titles, go into WrestleMania to defend them when that match isn't going to mean anything. So these four women coming together would really bring a spotlight for the Women's Tag Team Championships heading into WrestleMania. So I'm going to predict that tonight, maybe we see Becky Lynch and Lita win the WWE Tag Team Championships, and then they will go on to WrestleMania to defend against whomever WWE chooses. It should be really freaking interesting. And going after that, just like I had brought up earlier about Matt Riddle and Randy Orton, if Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler are now starting to become more of a tag team, then I can pretty much guarantee that they are one day going to be fighting each other. And both of them come from the MMA background. And I think that is one thing that Ronda Rousey is really missing, because Ronda Rousey does struggle a lot in the ring. She needs to be that Brock Lesnar for the WWE Women's Division, because if she's the baddest woman on the planet, especially because she still acts like she's the baddest woman on the planet, you need to bring that to the ring. You need to portray that in the ring. Because to me, WWE right now is just pushing Ronda Rousey and tried to make her a babyface for so long, and it did nothing for her. Now, could we see where maybe Shayna Baszler becomes a really, really good heel in WWE, and then maybe then we can get a Ronda Rousey turning babyface, or maybe Shayna Baszler goes babyface and Ronda Rousey stays with her heel gimmick. We don't know, but we do know that eventually one day it'll be Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey. And I was actually speculating something I wanted to bring up to you guys, is that in my previous videos, I had stated that I thought that Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey were going to actually be in a singles match at this year's WrestleMania. Obviously, that isn't happening. I mean, WWE still could do it, but it'd kind of be screwy at this point, especially 5 weeks, before WrestleMania. But I've always brought up that WWE is planning a lot of things now. They're putting things into motion that are actually going to lead up to next year's WrestleMania in Philadelphia at WrestleMania 40. So I could maybe see WWE want to plant another seed in this match at WrestleMania. If we have Rousey and Baszler and then Lynch and Lita, I could see a spot between Rousey and Lynch that would almost be like a mimic of their match at WrestleMania 35 and how it ended there. And then maybe that could lead into WrestleMania 40 next year. And then we get Lynch and Rousey at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. I think that would be badass. And I think WWE might save Ronda Rousey as the final boss, in a sense, for Becky Lynch when Ronda Rousey finally does want to step away from WWE and just go and be a mom and do whatever she wants to do. So that's what I think WWE is going on with this, and that's what I think WWE is going to do with the Women's Tag Team Championships. going into WrestleMania. It's all going to be really freaking interesting. And this is actually like the most perfect segue into the next topic, because WWE superstars are frustrated with Triple H over their WrestleMania 39 bookings. Now let's see what the Spotlight has to say. WrestleMania 39 is 6 weeks away to take place from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. A few months ago, rumors circulated that The Rock and Steve Austin were to compete at the Show of Shows. However, it was previously reported that both superstars declined the WWE offers. Despite The Rock and Steve Austin's absence, John Cena and Logan Paul are scheduled to compete at the event. Logan Paul started his storyline against Seth Rollins at the Royal Rumble after eliminating Rollins from the match. The Maverick also cost Rollins the U.S. title match at Elimination Chamber. On the other hand, John Cena will be returning to WWE on the March 6th episode of Monday Night Raw to set up his match against Austin Theory at WrestleMania 39. As of now, WWE has officially announced 3 matches for WrestleMania 39. Last year, WWE added 7 matches for Night 1 and 9 matches for Night 2 of the Showcase of the Immortals. However, that will reportedly change this year. WrestlingNews.co reported that Triple H has decided the WrestleMania 39 card is going to be a lot smaller than in previous years. They also noted that WWE superstars are frustrated about legends and celebrities taking their spots. There are also some unhappiness about some of the slots on the show being used by legends and celebrities. Obviously, things could change by those we spoke to were not happy about not being involved in the company's biggest show of the year in Los Angeles. Also, WrestlingNews.co noted that the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal won't take place at WrestleMania just like in previous years. See, this is something that I find really, really interesting. Okay. So in the report, it stated that WrestleMania last year had 7 matches for Night 1 and 9 matches for Night 2. Okay, but let's just like think about this for a second. So WrestleMania is going to be held in Los Angeles. That's why it is labeled as WrestleMania Hollywood. I could see where, because of the fact that Triple H, he is a quality over quantity type of guy. He would much rather have 5 matches on a 2-hour show than have 8, 9 matches on a 2-hour show that don't go a certain length, or they don't have that quality to them. Now, you guys also don't think that with WWE being in Los Angeles, that we're not going to get a lot of celebrity appearances? Like, we're not going to get a lot of performances? Like, I could see where, let's say we only get 6 matches for Night 1 of WrestleMania. I could see sporadically through there we get, celebrity guest appearances, we get backstage interviews with celebrities, we get maybe a musical performance by somebody, then they have the WWE Hall of Fame segment. They usually have like a Stone Cold Steve Austin segment, or, anything. So, I don't really understand how some talent I could kind of see where if they were left off, they would be frustrated. Like if it was like a Drew McIntyre or an LA Knight or, a Finn Balor, somebody like that. Which obviously I think all of those people are going to be announced for a match at WrestleMania. But unless you are on those caliber of superstar, then I don't really understand why they would really be frustrated at Triple H for the WrestleMania 39 booking, especially when we've kind of been hearing over the last few weeks that Vince McMahon has come back to WWE and that he's actually kind of booking WrestleMania this year. He's a little piece of the creative team for this year's WrestleMania. So yeah, I could see how Triple H isn't going to entirely get his way because he isn't in complete control of this year's WrestleMania. So they can't necessarily be mad at Triple H when he doesn't have full say. I can guarantee if Triple H had full say, we would probably already have a good 60%, 70% of the match card already announced. We would just be building off of stories, you know. But I think because of the fact that we have a WWE sale on the horizon, because of the fact that we have Vince McMahon back in the creative and director role for WWE, this is what we are being dealt with. Is WrestleMania still going to be very, very good? Hell yeah, it is. This WrestleMania is still going to be great. I mean, has it kind of fallen off a little bit? It has a little bit. I mean, just think about this for a second. After the Royal Rumble with Sami Zayn, that was the hottest thing leaving the Royal Rumble. Even with Rhea Ripley winning and, you know, us speculating whether she's going to challenge Charlotte or Bianca, it was still Sami Zayn. But now that we know that Sami Zayn is transitioning from the storyline with Roman Reigns to the storyline with Kevin Owens and the Usos, it's almost like this little gapped period. Because now we are transitioning from the hottest thing to, okay, now we have to go in this new direction. So we've been building all of this time around Sami Zayn, and then now he's going to be switching a storyline to go after the Usos and the unified WWE Tag Team Championships with Kevin Owens. So there is like that little lag in storylines. Now, if, you know, wrestlers are upset over that, I can understand that because with, like I just said, with the Sami Zayn story leaving the Royal Rumble, it almost took over everything else that could have possibly been happening in WWE at the time. So that is just a happenstance of just what happened when it comes to this story and just how over Sami Zayn is. Nobody else can compare to Sami Zayn right now. You know, so it's really, really interesting to hear that, you know, there are superstars that are frustrated. I think it would be interesting if they had a list of the superstars that could have potentially said something like maybe a Drew McIntyre or Finn Balor or something, you know. But I don't know, man. I'm still super excited for this year's WrestleMania. I mean, we have so many matches that are already announced or we can already see happening. I mean, we have Roman and Cody, Seth Rollins and Logan Paul, Ripley and Charlotte Flair for the Women's SmackDown Tag Team Champion, Theory and Cena, Belair versus Asuka for the Women's or Raw Women's Championship. And then this is something I wanted to throw out to you guys. Okay, I was actually thinking about this before I went live. And Antonio, my co-host, I know you're listening, dude. Tell me what you think about this after you hear this, bro. It's awesome. Okay, check this out. So everybody right now kind of doesn't really know what to do with LA Knight. Now everybody knows that LA Knight was with Bray Wyatt at the Royal Rumble in the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. Well, I was actually sitting there thinking, what if WWE necessarily didn't have a plan for LA Knight at WrestleMania until the night where he was going to come out into the ring and cut a promo? Because LA Knight is amazing at promos. He is amazing. Oh, yeah. Awesome. I love LA Knight whenever he cuts a promo. The way he says, yeah, awesome. I love it. But so he's going to do something amazing at WrestleMania. He's going to cut a fantastic promo. And I was actually thinking, what if we have the American Badass Undertaker come out and interrupt LA Knight again? And then we have the Undertaker attack LA Knight and just give like that final farewell send-off to the American Badass Undertaker. Because the Undertaker did have two characters. The Undertaker and then the American Badass. So we got to see the retirement of the Undertaker. Now let's see the retirement of the American Badass. And I could see him coming in when LA Knight is cutting a promo. Maybe he can deliver some jabs and send him into the corner, deliver snake eyes, big boot, choke slam, pile driver. That's it. Clean, simple, freaking awesome. Especially with the pop that we got when we got that little tease of the American Badass Undertaker. Why not? Why not? I mean, LA Knight is amazing. Undertaker's going to get a huge pop. That, it would actually be really cool for LA Knight to put on his career that he was able to perform at WrestleMania against the Undertaker, especially the American Badass Undertaker, when that is like a very small window of the Undertaker's career. So only certain people have been able to compete with him, in that, with that character going, and that would just be a huge mark for LA Knight on his wrestling career. So why not book it? And another thing that, I was thinking about earlier, is, so if we get where Becky Lynch and Lita tonight beat Dakota Kai and Io Sky for the women's tag team championships, right? What if we get it where Damage Control splits up, and then we actually get a triple threat women's match at WrestleMania between Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Bayley? And then we actually see them break up. And then, Bayley can showcase those two on the stage of WrestleMania and carry them through the match to really make them look good. And then hopefully, WWE can create two stars, killing two birds with one stone. That stone being Bayley, obviously coming out with the victory. But still, Dakota Kai and Io Sky looking very good at WrestleMania. I don't know, man. It's just like some things that I found really freaking interesting that I just felt like sharing with you guys. But that's all that we had for today on Interesting Podcast. And again, everything was brought to you guys by The Spotlight News. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Ring that notification bell so you guys get notified whenever I upload content. Comment down below and tell me, do you guys think that WWE Talent should be frustrated with Triple H over their bookings heading into this year's WrestleMania? Also, make sure to go and follow me on social media at CodyT503. That's Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I will be back later on this week with some more WWE news. Again, this was Interesting Podcast. I'll catch you guys later.